This is a final hearing involving the Taylor child, Casely Taylor. Ms. Gutierrez is with us for the department. Mr. Naranjo is with us representing the child, and the father, Jonathan Salter, is with us. The mother, Whitney Taylor, is not with us and not in my waiting room. I have Jennifer Campos, Jasmine Ramos, Stacy Aguilar, and Emily Braden in the waiting room.
Emily Braden is my worker on this one, Your Honor. I should also have, I believe, Amanda Haas.
Don't have her.
Okay, let me see. Let me see who the St. Francis supervisor is today that's supposed to be on with us. I just realized there's nobody on with us.
Okay. I'll just wait till you tell me you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. I apologize for the delay.
No problem.
Okay. Your Honor, Jennifer Campos is the supervisor on this for today's docket. And once she's in, I can ask her to contact Amanda Haas or Christy Ashley, rather. Is Christy in the waiting room?
No, Jennifer is coming in, and then I have Jasmine Ramos and Stacy Aguilar.
Okay, thank you.
And Jennifer's with us now.
Great. Ms. Campos?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I think Christy Ashley is supposed to be my witness today, but Amanda Haas is the caseworker. I don't have either one of them.
They are logging in right now. Sorry, they're having some technical difficulties, so they're logging in right now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm going to step away for just about 2 minutes and make a quick phone call.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank y'all. Okay, I'm back, and it looks like Miss Ashley has joined us. So, Ms. Gutierrez, when you're ready to proceed, you may call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The department calls Jonathan Salter.
Okay. Mr. Salter, if you'd unmute, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. If you raise your right hand, do you swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Gutierrez.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Salter, you are the biological father of your daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is her date of birth?
7/22/23.
And is her full name Casely Lynn Salter Taylor?
Yes, ma'am.
And she resides with you currently, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what city or town is that?
San Antonio, Texas.
How long has she lived with you for?
It's been about 6 months now, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, since December.
Can you give us some details on how she's doing living with you, please?
She's doing really good. She's picking up her ABCs. She's counting. She's just a sweetheart. She's gotten all the way down to asking if she could be excused from the table. I mean, she's able to crawl up and down on her bed. I've gotten her a new bed. We're setting up her room even more and more as time goes. She's doing really good. I'm excited to get her into school so she can make a lot of friends and just enjoy life. And yeah, she's doing great.
And how old is she now?
She's 3. She'll be 4 this coming July.
Okay. Can you describe the emotional bond between you and Casely, please?
The emotional bond between Casely and I, well, we love each other. I love you, Dad. She's really happy to be here. I mean, like at first she was she's very stubborn, but as time has went by, I've been able to work with her quite a bit, and I just love her dearly. She's a sweetheart. Yeah, she'll randomly tell me how much she loves me, and I couldn't ask for anything more. You know, it's a blessing having a younger child again. It really is.
Okay, that is great. Thank you for sharing that. As far as being the conservator, are you wanting to be the main decision maker in everything in Casely's life?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. I sure do. Yeah.
Are you asking? Oh, go ahead. Please finish.
I said, I just want her to have a good life from here on out. I want her to have a wonderful life. But yes, I do.
And her mother is Whitney Taylor. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you wanting Whitney's rights to remain intact to the child?
I mean, that's really up to the courts, but I'm okay with having full rights of her. Absolutely. Yeah, with having like I mean, I don't know what she's doing. I haven't talked to her, so I don't know. I don't know what she's doing. So yeah, at this point, to stay safe, I know she has family that they're troublemakers, and so I mean, that would be okay. I would be okay with that, yes.
And in regards to child support, if the court allowed Ms. Taylor to continue with her parental rights, so not terminating
Mhm.
her parental rights,
Yeah.
would you want the court to order child support to you from Ms. Taylor?
I don't think she'd be able to pay. No, that's fine. I can take care of my child.
And in regards to health insurance, how will you be covering Kaisley by health insurance?
Honestly, I'm gonna start looking into it through my business and see what I can do to come up with health insurance through home stamps.
Okay.
And just go that route, because I mean, I should be able to afford it. It shouldn't be a big deal.
And so would you want any reimbursement from Ms. Taylor for that health insurance?
No, ma'am, I don't think, I don't think she'd be able to handle it, no. So, I mean, it's like, banging your head against the wall. You don't want to do it too many times. It's just gonna keep hurting.
And in regards to visitation, if Ms. Taylor continues legally as Kaisley's mom, what visitation do you think she should have with Kaisley, if any?
I think that that Zoom or verbally speaking would be fine, but that's about it. I really, until she has proven that she is going to be an active member of society and actually get on her feet and do something with herself, I don't think more than Zoom or a phone call would be. So I think that's it, really. She doesn't need to be around her until she gets her stuff together.
Thank you, Mr. Salter. I pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Ronho?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Gutierrez, any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. The department calls Emily Braden.
Okay. Ms. Braden, if you'd raise your right hand, please. You swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gutierrez.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I'd like to offer some exhibits. Let me get those exhibit numbers real quick. The department offers petitioners exhibits numbered 1 through 6, and I can identify each one if the court would like.
All right, if you would just briefly.
Thank you, Your Honor. The first one is a certified copy of an indictment against Whitney Taylor, and that's for tampering or fabricating with physical evidence. And that is cause number 79100-A out of Potter County.
Okay. Any objections to one? All right, petitioner's one
Objection.
submitted.
Okay.
I guess we could, Mr. Ronho, are you going to have any objections to 1 through 6?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Okay. Ms. Gutierrez, if you want to put it on the record, that's fine. If not, I'll go ahead and admit 1 through 6. And then if you need to talk about each one, you can.
Okay, Your Honor, we can just admit them in a group, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. All right. They're all admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, Emily, who do you work for?
The Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
And what do you do for them?
I'm an investigator.
And have you investigated Whitney Taylor?
Yes.
And was that for the child Kaisley Salter Taylor?
Yes.
And is her date of birth July 23rd of 2022?
Yes.
And at that time, there were 2 possible fathers. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And one was Lyle Potter and the other one is Mr. Salter. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. What were the intake allegations received by the department on August 8th of 2025?
There were, I'm looking at my investigative report or my affidavit just to make sure I get that right. Whenever it came in August, there were concerns due to Miss Taylor being in a car accident with Kaisley. And and her having a serious injury. She had broken her leg. And there were also concerns due to Casely's hygiene.
Okay. And in the investigation with that, did Ashley Delgado determine that the child seat that Casely was in was inappropriate?
That's correct.
And what I mean by that, I mean for her age and size. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so did the department feel like that was a neglectful situation for the mother towards Casely?
Yes.
In further investigation, was it found that Ms. Taylor had a history of substance abuse, including alcohol and methamphetamines?
That's correct.
And was she living with individuals that were involved with methamphetamines as well?
Yes.
And when she was stopped by the police, as described in the intake, was the individual she was with also a sex offender?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me about any conversations you had with Ms. Taylor?
Yeah, I spoke with Miss Taylor outside of the residence that she was residing in at the time. She talked about having a history of substance use. She admitted to struggling. She was working cleaning houses at the time for the individual that she was living with who was currently using methamphetamine. She identified the fathers or the potential fathers of the child. And she really just seemed to be struggling at the time.
Okay. And who did she identify that she lived with?
She identified Mr. and Mrs. Bashaw.
And Mr. Bashaw, a little before this intake came in, had been arrested with methamphetamine on him. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And did you visit the home at any point with Mr. and Mrs. Bashaw?
Yes, so initially whenever I met with Miss Taylor, it was outside of the residence, but it had a clear door, and so I could see inside of the home. I could see that there was a lot of clutter, like a bunch of tools, things that Casely could easily hurt herself on. I asked to go into the home to assess it, and they wouldn't allow me at the time. They both acknowledged that the home was not in good condition, and they would allow me to come back in a few days after they had had a chance to clean it up.
Okay.
And so I returned to the home a few days later, and they did allow me in the home. But there were still concerns regarding a lot of tools that were there, a lot of clutter that was there, as well as 3 large dogs that were there that the family told me would kill me.
And did you determine that that was an unsafe environment for a toddler?
Yes, I did.
In regards to Mr. Bashaw, did he admit to using methamphetamine for the past 3 or 4 months when you talked to him that day?
Yes, he did.
As well, did you observe Ms. Bashaw falling asleep during the conversation and unable to hold her head up?
Yes.
And based on your training and experience, were you concerned that she was under the influence of something at that time?
Yes, I was.
Now, during this investigation, where was Casely living?
Casely was at the babysitter's home, Mr. and Mrs. Garcia, who had been providing babysitting services for Miss Taylor for a while.
Okay. And Miss Taylor was the one in charge of the child, is that correct, in determining where she stayed and taking
Yes.
care of her of those things?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Did you ask Miss Taylor to drug screen to rule out drug use?
I did.
And did she refuse?
Yes, she showed up to Care Express to drug screen. Whenever she found out that the UA was going to be supervised, she declined it, and then she declined a hair follicle.
Can you tell me about your reasonable efforts to prevent or eliminate the need for removal?
Yes, I spoke with the family about possibly doing a family team meeting to discuss the concerns and figure out a way to move forward. They never responded to these efforts. I attempted to visit with Miss Taylor multiple times. She would never answer my phone calls or my visits to the home. She was difficult to locate, and so I tried multiple addresses. That day, whenever I was at the home and I had Miss Taylor there, I spoke with her about possibly implementing a safety plan of some kind, with her having supervised visitation with Casely and working ongoing services through Texas Family First or Family-Based Safety Services. And she advised that she wanted to speak to an attorney before doing anything with the department, but then quit having contact with me from that point on.
Thank you, Ms. Braden. Did the department determine that the child was in immediate danger?
Yes.
And was that for her physical safety as well as her possible methamphetamine? I apologize, possible methamphetamine exposure.
Yes, there was a concern that she could pick up Kaisley at any point in time from the babysitter's home, and that we wouldn't know where Kaisley was or if she was safe.
And she indicated during investigation that she was planning to pick up Kaisley.
She advised that she would, that she wanted to.
Okay. Pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Ms. Naranjo?
No questions, Your Honor.
Right. Mr. Salter, did you have any questions for Ms. Braden?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Gutierrez, any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor, the department calls Christy Ashley.
Okay. Ms. Ashley, if you'd raise your right hand, you swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. All right. Oh, I can't hear you.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, Ms. Gutierrez.
Thank you, Your Honor. Christy, who do you work for?
St. Francis Ministries.
And what do you do for them?
I'm a supervisor for permanency and reunification.
And were you the main caseworker for Kaisley's case up until the last couple of weeks?
Yes, up until April 17th.
Okay. And as a caseworker, did you prepare a family plan of service for Ms. Salter?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I apologize, Ms. Taylor.
Ms. Taylor, yes.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, we ask for judicial notice of the status hearing order.
All right, so noted.
Thank you, Your Honor. And did that family plan of service aim to address the reasons for removal?
Yes.
And was it uniquely tailored to Ms. Taylor's needs?
Yes.
And did it specifically try to address the substance abuse as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you tell me about your efforts to meet or locate Ms. Taylor as well as your efforts to engage her in services?
Yes, I went to multiple addresses. I called numerous people. I spoke with the Bashaws. They told me that she sometimes panhandled on certain corners. So I would drive by those locations. Then at one point she had called Mr. Salter as well as her mother. So I got information that she was possibly at Transformation Park. So I would go by Transformation Park as well. She was arrested twice during the case. The first time, the arresting officer did call me and let me know that she had been arrested and was at Randall County. However, we have to make appointments to visit inmates there. So I called to make the appointment and she had already been released. And then the second time she was incarcerated at Randall County, I was able to go and meet with her.
And did you make attempts to identify where she was each month?
Yes, ma'am.
And was your purpose for that to also talk to her about services, talk to her about what she get started with, and helping her with the substance abuse issue?
Yes, ma'am.
Did she ever respond to any of your attempts?
No, I was able to meet with her during her second time at Randall County, but she did refuse. She got up and left the room.
Okay. The child is now living with her father, Jonathan Salter. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are we asking the court to name him the sole managing conservator of Kaisley?
Yes.
Can you tell me why that would be in her best interest?
Jonathan and Kaisley have been doing wonderful. I placed her there December 22nd. They've been having regular meetings with a local worker there. I did go and see them in person myself in March. Kaisley's very happy. She's thriving. She's doing so well. And as far as Miss Taylor goes, we've not been able to monitor with drug screens. She's still homeless and has no financial stability. There's just been no change with her.
And the court had ordered her visitation suspended at the adversary hearing and continued that suspension throughout the case pending negative drug screens. Is that correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, we asked for judicial notice of the temporary order following full adversary hearing,
All right, so noted.
as well as the initial permanency hearing order before final order.
All right, so noted.
Okay. Now, Ms. Ashley, is St. Francis asking the court not to terminate Ms. Taylor's rights?
Yes.
Okay. And are we asking the court to name her a possessory conservator?
Yes.
Can you tell me why that would be in the child's best interest?
We just feel that since we weren't able to work with her, we're hopeful that at some point she may be able to get the help that she needs. And once we feel like if she could show a negative hair follicle, negative drug screens, that it would probably be okay at some point for her to have a relationship with Caseley. Jonathan is very protective and willing to monitor phone calls if the judge allows that. But we feel that there's no reason to terminate at this time.
Okay. And as well, you're aware that the mother had shared she'd had Navajo ancestry around the time of the removal. Is that correct?
I think a family member or someone had mentioned that possibly. To my knowledge, Whitney herself did deny it.
Okay. Your Honor, I asked the court to take judicial notice of the ICWA notices sent on February 11th, 2026 and February 28th of 2026.
All right, so noted.
Thank you, Your Honor. I next asked for judicial notice of the filed email response from the tribe indicating the child was ineligible, and that was filed on February 24th of 2026.
All right, so noted.
And the title of that document is Response from Navajo Nation - Child Ineligible.
Okay, noted.
Thank you, Your Honor. We ask, let's see here. Okay, at this time, I pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Ms. Naranjo?
Miss Ashley, has Miss Taylor worked any services for the department?
No, ma'am.
Has she done any drug testing for the department?
No, ma'am.
At this point, she's pretty much had no contact with her daughter since she was removed. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. Mr. Salter, any questions for Ms. Ashley?
No, sir. No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, thank you. All
You're
right. Ms. Gutierrez, any other witnesses?
No other witnesses, Your Honor. We rest. I do have a few requests of the court.
All right, we'll get that. Let me be sure we're through. I've got a few questions. Christy, this could either be for you or it could be for Emily, and this might have been covered and I might not have caught it, but this case originated with Ms. Taylor had Caseley in the car, not in a car seat, excessively speeding, had a wreck, which caused Caseley to have a broken femur. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, as far as visitation, you said that I know the court suspended visitation until she gave a negative drug screen. I think you've already testified. She never gave a negative drug screen, did she?
She never gave a drug screen at all, Judge.
Okay. All right. So would you say that the service plan, which she did not work, was that a reasonable effort on the part of the department to reunite Caseley with her?
Yes, sir.
I think we've established this, but she has not regularly visited or maintained significant contact with Caseley because of her failure to drug screen, correct?
Correct, and that we could not locate her to the entirety of the case.
Okay. So would you say that she's demonstrated an inability to provide Caseley with a safe environment?
Yes, sir.
So basically she's abandoned Caseley?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. Then does Ms. Naranjo, did you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Salter, is there anything else you need to tell me?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Gutierrez?
Thank you, Your Honor. May I recall Christy Ashley?
Sure. Go ahead.
Ms. Ashley, do you feel that the department made reasonable efforts to reunify the family?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me in detail what those reasonable efforts were?
We were unable to set up a visitation plan for her due to the order to suspend until she was able to provide a negative drug screen. So we made efforts to locate her monthly in order to try to get her to drug screen. I also developed the family plan of service and made attempts to speak with her monthly and to locate her to discuss those services and to assist with hopefully trying to find stable housing and employment for her as well.
Would you agree that facilitating visitation between the child and Mr. Salter was also a reasonable effort to reunify the family?
Yes, he started with virtual visits and then because of the distance with placement, but then we did start setting up in person where he came to Amarillo to see her multiple times. And then once we felt it was safe and she was comfortable with him, we did reunify to his home.
And would you agree that reunifying the child with her father is also a reasonable effort to reunify the family?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I pass the witness again, Your Honor.
All right. Anyone have any further witnesses or any further questions for either of the prior witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. If everyone rests and closed, Ms. Gutierrez, you said you had some requests.
Yes, Your Honor, I do have some requests. I asked for judicial notice that Ms. Taylor was served on November 12th of 2025 with the return of citation filed on November 13th of 2025.
All right. So noted.
I asked for judicial notice that Ms. Taylor has not made any appearance in this case, either by filing or appearing for a hearing.
So noted.
Thank you, Your Honor. We ask for a reasonable efforts finding as described by Ms. Ashley.
All right. I do find reasonable efforts were made to try to reunify.
Thank you, Your Honor. I ask for a finding that the child is not an Indian per the Indian Child Welfare Act.
All right. So noted.
And I ask that the court make orders that Mr. Salter obtain insurance for the child through his employment or a private insurance.
Okay.
And I believe that's it. If Ms. Taylor's going to have her parental rights intact, we ask for the court to consider child support and medical support.
Okay. All right then. All right. If no one has anything further, then Ms. Naranjo, your recommendations?
Your Honor, I do believe it's in the child's best interest that Mr. Salter Taylor be named permanent managing conservator of the child, that Miss Taylor's rights honestly should be terminated. She's not made any efforts to be part of the child's life, even though she's had reasonable efforts and the opportunity to do so. If she is allowed to remain possessory conservator, I would ask that she have no visitation, and if she provided clean UA and hair follicle drug screen before starting any type of virtual visitation or phone calls. And I would ask that she be ordered to pay minimum wage child support and medical reimbursement of at least $25 a month.
Okay. All right. Okay then, Mr. Salter, if you'd unmute.
Yes, Your Honor.
I want to be sure you understand what the two options are, because I'm going to let you decide which one you want. The court has grounds to terminate Ms. Taylor, terminate her parental rights, which means after any appellate periods, if she did not appeal it, then basically you have complete control on whether or not she ever got to see Casely or not see Casely, and you would be sole control of that, how that would happen. If I do that, I cannot set child support. You've told me you didn't really care about the child support, and I couldn't set medical support. So that's your option one, okay?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right. Option two is I would name her what's called a possessory conservator. She would still have her parental rights. If I do that, I have to set child support and medical reimbursement. I know you said she wouldn't pay it, and that's probably true, but it would be solely up to you. You don't have to pursue child support against her if you don't want to, but she would have those rights, which means until Casely became an adult at 18, she could take you back to court at any time to try and enforce her rights, try and get custody of Casely, any number of things. So I would not say, I would not, if you don't want her terminated, I wouldn't give her child support now until she provided clean drug screens, and then it would basically be up to you and her to agree, and if not, I'd set some really minimum amount of visitation. It would be virtually. So Those are your two options. I just want you to tell me if you'd rather just be done with it, or whether you do not want her parental rights terminated.
Honestly, I'd rather just be done with it.
You'd rather me terminate her parental rights today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, sir. Okay, then based upon the evidence I've heard, especially Mr. Salter's testimony, first of all, I will find it's in the best interest of Caseley Taylor that Mr. Salter be named sole permanent managing conservator with the right to establish Caseley's residence. I further find, based on the evidence I've heard today, as well as the exhibits that have been admitted, that it is in the best interest of Caseley Taylor that the parental rights of the mother, Whitney Taylor, be terminated. I'll terminate those rights today based on Texas Family Code section 161.001 subsections B1D, E, and N as in Nancy. I will dismiss the department and all court-appointed relationships after all appellate and de novo periods have expired. And I will make the finding requested by the department. I do find that Caseley Taylor is in fact not an Indian child as set out in the ICWA statutes. So, okay, we have a final resolution in this case, so there will be no further hearings set. Mr. Salter, congratulations. I'm sure you'll be glad not. I'm sure you'll be glad not to see me again, and that doesn't offend me at all.
Yeah, you know what? All you guys have been great, and I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for what you've done. Just you've got a great girl there, so enjoy your life with her.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate it.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I think Mr. Salter just had one question about what he needs to do to be able to get on the birth certificate for Caseley.
Thank you, Miss Ashley.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for him. Does anybody?
I do
Yes.
too.
Kendra may have more recent information. I haven't dealt with this in quite a while.
So you'll need it on the order that you're being added, either as the father and the or authorizing the name change, whatever you want the name to be. And then you can go to the Texas, there's a Texas website, or you can just Google name change, and you'll pull up this certificate and you'll fill out this form. There's fees you have to pay, and attach a certified copy of that order. You'll mail it to Texas Vital Statistics, and they can do the name change for you and add you to the birth certificate.
I don't know if he was
Okay.
asking about the name change so much
Yeah.
as being identified as the father on the birth certificate.
Yes, you can get added to the birth certificate so long as you have a certified copy and you complete that form.
All right. And Mr. Salter, I didn't ask you that, but do you want any kind of name change for Caseley?
I probably want to take the Taylor off and just keep it Salter.
Okay. All right.
And that's about it. But as far as a certified copy of her birth certificate, I do not have that.
Oh, you don't need a certified copy of the birth certificate. You'll need a
Okay.
certified copy of the order from today.
Yeah,
Okay,
when
all right.
when I sign
Thank
the
you.
order, you can get a certified copy from the Randall County District Clerk's office, and then that's what you'll do when you start Ms. Naranjo's process she just described.
You can call
Okay.
them and they can probably email it to you.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
Of course.
Okay, so I am going to add to my previous ruling. I'm going to order that Caseley Salter Taylor's name. Do you want to? I'm sorry, Mr. Salter. Do you want a middle name for her, or just leave it?
Caseley Lynn is fine. Caseley Lynn Salter. That's okay. I can live with that.
L. How you spell Lynn?
Lynn.
Okay.
Lynn. I believe is how it is spelled.
Okay. All right. I will additionally order that the child's name be changed to Caseley, KaysleY, Lynn, Lynn, Salter, Salter.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Congratulations. And we will be in recess, and I will be back. What time's my next one?
And Your Honor, I'm required to put how the child will be covered by health insurance. Is the court ordering for Mr. Salter to apply through his employment or through private insurance?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Either through, if he qualified, I'll order that he either continue her on Medicaid or apply for private insurance.
Okay, I'll add that in. Thank you.
Okay. County case cause number 86577. This is set for a final hearing. I do recognize there's a motion to retain the case on the court's docket filed by the department. Ms. Gutierrez is with us for the department. Ms. Lucero is with us representing the child, Fernando Jr. Ms. Graff is with us representing the father, Fernando Ibarra, I guess senior, who I show is incarcerated. And Mr. Barfield's with us representing the mother, Stacy Aguilar. She is not that I see that she's not with us. She's not in my waiting room.
I'm
Would you-
checking. I'm checking on that now, Judge.
Okay, all right. I've read the reports. Let me start by asking the attorneys, does anybody object to the department's motion to extend the case and retain the case on the court's docket?
I don't,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Okay. All right, if there's no objections, then I've read the reasons why the child's been placed back with mother and the child has quite a few needs. They want to just monitor it for a period of at least 8 weeks. So I do find that that's a good cause to extend the case. So I will extend the case and retain the case on the court's docket. So we will proceed today just as a permanency hearing. Okay,
Thank you,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Barfield, I'll wait until you see if you can find your client.
Thank you, Judge.
And Your Honor, while we're doing that, can we bring Jalissa Bird in? She's my caseworker on this.
Okay, yes, ma'am. That only leaves Elaine Lucero in the waiting room. Okay, Ms. Aguilar has now joined us. All right, so Ms. Gutierrez, you may proceed on a permanency hearing.
Thank you, Your Honor. The department calls Jalissa Bird as its witness.
Okay, Ms. Bird, if you'd raise your right hand, please. You swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gutierrez.
Thank you, Your Honor. We ask for judicial notice of the court report filed on April 13th of 2026.
All right, so noted, and I did read that report.
Thank you. Ms. Bird, can you tell us about the child's placement change to residing with mother?
Yes, Fernando had a discharge at his previous placement just due to the placement's needs changing to care for his needs. And so a discharge was put in due to parent continuing sobriety as well as completing her services. We did place Fernando in her home on April 7th.
Okay. And I know Fernando has a diagnosis for autism. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Can you tell us what efforts Ms. Aguilar is making to set his services up, his doctor's appointments, his therapies, things like that?
Yes, Ms. Aguilar has had him on different waiting lists for different programs. So behavioral therapy, ABA therapy, occupational therapy. And so currently she did apply to get his Medicaid card to be able to get him into a primary doctor. And with a primary doctor, he can be referred out to those services and get him higher up on that waiting list.
Okay. In addition to that, have you confirmed that Ms. Aguilar is employed gainfully?
Yes,
However, her job does require evenings and early mornings at times. Is that correct?
that is correct.
And what care plan has she set up to make sure that Fernando Jr. always has somebody home to watch him?
Yes, she has a working schedule with her sister who now lives in the home. Her sister has a schedule that's opposite of hers. So when she's home, her sister's at work, and when Miss Aguilar is at work, her sister is at home with Fernando. And they also have a third caregiver. It's a paternal aunt that is there as well to provide support.
Thank you, Ms. Bird. In regards to service plans, has Ms. Aguilar completed all of her services?
Yes, she has.
And as far as Fernando Sr., how's he doing on his services?
There is a program that was mentioned at his previous unit. I was able to find that he did move units recently. So we did request for a different LPS worker to that unit.
Okay, so to your knowledge, has he completed any services?
Not to my knowledge.
Has he stayed in communication with you?
Yes, he has.
Can you please describe what communication you've had with him?
So we have been able to send a LPS worker out to his previous unit. We did have some issues with the facility allowing our LPS worker to be able to visit parent. We have been able to send Mr. Ibarria letters to his unit. This current unit, we have not been able to send a letter at this time since he just recently moved a few weeks ago.
Okay. And did those letters advise him of the case?
Yes,
And did they provide him any updates with the child?
yes, it did.
Okay. And as far as visitation, dad's visitation just remains suspended until he's released and cooperates with his family plan of service. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Are there anything, any additional orders we need to ask the court to consider adding?
Not currently at this time.
Are we asking for any drug screens or alcohol screens to be ordered today?
No, not at this time.
Can you please describe in detail the reasonable efforts the department has taken to reunify the family?
Yes, the department has continued contact with both parents. We have referred an LPS worker for a parent who's incarcerated. We do send mail. I continue to meet with Miss Aguilar. Previous before Fernando was moved in the home, monthly and now weekly, and just continue in contact with any relatives that are a part of the case, and just continuing to remain in contact with parents and child.
And would you agree placing the child at home with mom is a reasonable effort to reunify?
Yes,
And before placement, that facilitating her visitation with the child was also a reasonable effort to reunify.
yes.
Do we have any other requests for the court?
Not at this time, no.
Pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Mr. Barfield, questions?
Ma'am, so the plan is to extend the case till approximately June 15th, I think is when I think we have a date, and continue the monitored return today. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions, Judge.
All right, Ms. Graff, questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Bird, could you just let me know whether or not the paternal aunt that you mentioned is Alyssa Ibarra, my client's sister?
I believe so.
Okay. And when you mentioned that Mr. Ibarra had recently moved, is he now in Roach unit in Childress?
Yes, ma'am.
Good, because that's what I had for him too. So I appreciate getting that confirmation. Thank you. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Lucero.
Just a couple, Your Honor. Ms. Bird, Fernando Jr.'s been with his mom now it'll be 3 weeks tomorrow. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and he's doing well. There's been no concerns?
Yes, he's doing well, and I don't have any concerns at this time.
All right, thank you. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, Ms. Gutierrez, any further witnesses for today?
No, Your Honor, the department rests. We ask for a finding that the department is making reasonable efforts to reunify.
All right, I will make that finding. Excuse me just a second. I need to take a quick call. Sorry for the interruption. All right, then, Mr. Barfield, did you have any witnesses?
I just need to ask my client a couple of questions.
Okay, Ms. Aguilar, if you would unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you,
Ms.
Judge.
Mhm.
Miss Aguilar, do you understand your child has been placed home with you? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And my understanding is everything is going well right now?
Mm-hmm.
And you understand the plan is to make this a permanency hearing, continue the case till mid-June, and if everything works out fine, hopefully we can get it resolved by then. Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir.
And are you asking the court to approve that recommendation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no further questions, Judge.
All right, does anyone else have questions for Ms. Aguilar? No? Okay. Mr. Barfield, no further witnesses?
Rest, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Graff, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
All right, thank you. Ms. Lucero, recommendations?
Your Honor, I just recommend that the department remain a temporary managing conservator of Fernando Jr. and that his placement continue with his mom.
Okay, all right, then that's what I'll do. I will continue the department. First of all, as I think I've already said, I have granted the department's motion to extend the case and retain the case on the court's docket. I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator and continue the current placement with mother. So, and I will set the final for June 15th, 2026. It will be by Zoom, just like today's hearing, unless the parties reach an agreement and submit me an agreed order before then. Parties can ask their lawyers, or anybody can go on the court's online docket a day or two before June 15th to see what time of day we have that hearing. That way you won't be sitting around in the waiting room for nothing. So, okay, we'll be in recess on this case. I'll be back here at 10:30 to call a motion to participate involving the Gonzales children. Otherwise, y'all have a good week. County case cause number 88192. This is a hearing on a motion to participate involving the Gonzales children. Ms. Gutierrez is with us for the department. Ms. Naranjo is with us representing the children. Ms. Lucero is with us representing the mother. Ms. Ramos, who is with us. Mr. Barfield is with us representing the father. Mr. Gonzales, he is not with us and not at, oh, he's here with her.
Yes, we're on the same phone.
Okay, all right. All right, that's all the parties are present. I have Rafaela Garcia, Zoe Stanley, and Katie Larson in the waiting room.
If Katie and Zoe can be brought in, Your Honor, and what was that other name?
Rafaela Garcia.
Okay, yes, Your Honor, she's one of my witnesses. If we have an agreement, I won't need her then.
Okay. Does anybody need breakout rooms to talk about agreements, or do we have agreements?
I think I appreciate a breakout room, Judge.
Okay. All right.
Yes, that's your lawyer.
What about you, Ms. Lucero? You need one?
Your Honor, I've already talked with my client. She's in agreement.
All right. Okay, I will open a breakout room for Mr. Barfield and Mr. Gonzales.
Here.
Let me get that
You're
set
gonna
up.
go outside and talk to him. Talk to him.
All right, Mr. Gonzales, you may be asked to join this breakout room, or it may put you in there automatically.
I'm here. Join it, you said?
I said you may be asked to join the breakout room, or it may just put you in there automatically.
Oh.
If you'll just stay still, please.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, I'll open that breakout room now. We'll see you when you come back. Okay, I'll get this room closed and get your client back.
Thank you, sir.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to have an agreement as well.
Okay. Okay, I believe he's back too. So, all right. Who wants to announce the agreement?
Your Honor, I can. I'd like to ask the court as well to order drug testing, both hair follicle and urinalysis today.
Okay.
And as far as the agreement, Your Honor, the parties agree to work services for Ms. Ramos and Mr. Gonzales. They have 4 young children. Let's see here. I can ask the court to take judicial notice of my petition, Your Honor, or I can identify each of these services.
No, that's fine. I've read the affidavit with all the conclusions that are contained for the record on pages 7 and 8 of the affidavit. So if that's the same as contained in your petition, I'll just order that the parents work the services as set out in the petition.
Yes, Your Honor, it is substantially the same. We are wanting to see the kids today as well. If we can go ahead and get a time that the department can visit the home today, that would be important.
Okay.
Are y'all needing to come like whenever the older kids get out of school, or?
Katie, did the older kids need to be there too?
Yes.
Yes. They get off the bus at 3:15.
Okay. I'll send somebody over about 3:30.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. So the agreement is for the services identified in the petition as well as access to the home. Services for the children, I think with the older children, we were looking at possibly family therapy or individual therapy. And of course, if anything's identified by the parents or care provider down the line that the children need help with as well. And then the drug testing for today.
Okay. All right, give me just a second. Okay, then I will approve that agreement. I say that I haven't asked. Well, Mr. Barfield and Ms. Lucero have told me. Mr. Naranjo, are you in agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. I would just ask that Hendricks be put in an appointment with Stonebridge if he's not already.
Okay.
He's they were supposed to call me back. I gave them all my information. I'm gonna give him a call again today, but he is in their system. I made sure of that because I told them that I at least needed them to have verification that I talked to them. So that way if y'all called and checked or anything, he is in their system.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then. I will order the parents to work the services as set out in the department's petition. I will order the children to work the services as set out in the department's petition. I will order the parents to both hair strand and UA drug screen by 4 p.m. today. I assume at Care Express. Yes,
Yes,
Care
Your
Express.
Honor.
All right. And I will order the parents allow the department and/or St. Francis access to the home and to view the children today at 3:30 p.m. Ms. Ramos, Mr. Gonzales, do y'all have transportation to get to the drug screens, or do you need transportation?
It's gonna be probably one at a time, so somebody can be here with the kids.
Okay, but do you have your own transportation though?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good enough. All right then, I appreciate y'all working that out. We will have, how do you want a compliance hearing, I assume?
Yes, Your Honor, please.
How far out?
Katie, do we need this one 2 or 3 months out?
I think maybe 2.
Okay, I've got June 22nd.
That works for the department, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I will set a compliance hearing for June 22nd, 2026. That will be by Zoom, just like today's hearing was. So, Ms. Ramos, Mr. Gonzales, you can either ask your lawyers a day or two before June 22nd or St. Francis, or you can go on the court's online docket to see what time of day we have that hearing, so you won't have to just sit around in the waiting room. We'll give you I can't say it'll be exactly at that time, but it'll be close to whatever time you're told. So.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Appreciate y'all working that out. We'll be in recess on this case. I will be back at 11:30 to call another motion to participate on a Randall County case involving the Medrano children. So thanks again for working that out. Y'all have a good week. Officer Gress, this is Judge Graham. If you'd unmute, please. Can you hear me?
Sir.
All right.
Yes,
Thank you, sir. The parties have reached an agreement, so we won't need your testimony today. So I'll go ahead and release you. I want to thank you for your being able to testify, and I want to thank you for your service.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
I'll release you. You have a good day.
Yes, sir. You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, who wants to announce the agreement?
I'll announce it, Judge.
Okay.
And I just ask that you take.
Hey, Judge, we haven't called the case.
Oh, I haven't called the case. You're right. Thanks, Amy. All right. I will call Randall County case cause number 88188L1. This is a motion to participate involving the Medrano children. Ms. Wildman's with us for the department. Mr. Naranjo is with us representing the children. Mr. Abbott is with us representing the father, Mr. Medrano. I don't see him, Mr. Abbott. Were you expecting him? You're muted.
Sorry about that, Judge. I'm not expecting him.
Okay. All right. And then I have Ms. Kincaid representing the mother, Ms. Medrano. They are both present. No one in the waiting room. So Ms. Wildman, if you'll announce the agreement.
Yes, Your Honor, we would ask that you take judicial notice of the petition that was filed in this case. The services as outlined in the petition are exactly what we'd be asking for in the order to participate. After discussing with parties, Judge, we are asking that as far as making any findings in the order, that you reserve any findings of abuse or neglect at this time to allow the parents the time to work those services. There are some other legal matters going on. And
I'm aware of that.
And I think both parties would have requested that as well. The department's not opposed, so.
Okay. Yeah, for the record, I'm aware that there's a hearing set with Judge Anderson, and he did ask that I go ahead and hold this hearing today. I asked him if he wanted me to hold off, so. Okay. All right. Then, Ms. Kincaid, is this your client's agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Abbott, your client's agreement.
Yes, Judge.
All right, Ms. Naranjo, you're in agreement.
Yes, Your Honor. I do believe it's in the children's best interest.
Okay. All right, then I will approve that agreement. I will order the parents to work services as set out in the department's petition. I don't think I'm actually looking at the affidavit. I don't think we had any services for any of the children, did we?
I don't believe so, Judge, just the general standard one that they will allow the children to work services as necessary.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right, then I, as requested, the order that's presented to me, I won't make any findings at this time until you can go forward with your other lawsuit. All right, do you want a compliance hearing?
Judge, if we could set that out, let's say 60 days.
Okay. Let me see. I just set one out. Let me go back to it and find it.
June 22nd, Judge.
June 22nd. Thank you, Kendra.
Not a problem.
Okay, I will set a compliance hearing for June 22nd, 2025. It will be by Zoom, just like today's hearing. Parties can ask their lawyers, or anybody can go on the court's online docket a day or two before June 22nd to see what time of day we have that hearing, so that you're not waiting around in the waiting room. Okay, I appreciate y'all working that out. We'll be in recess on this case. For any of you involved, I'll be back at 12:30 to call another Randall County case. That's a final hearing and a motion for severance on the PV and more children. So once again, thank you for working that out. Y'all have a good week. Mr. Abbott, good to see you again.
Thank you, Judge. Good seeing you, Judge.
This is a final hearing as well as a motion for severance involving the PV and more children. Ms. Gutierrez represents the department. She is not with us. Ms. Wildman is covering. Mr. Naranjo is with us representing the children. Mr. Pirtle is with us representing the mother, Brittany Moore. And Ms. Kincaid is with us representing the father, Mr. Fuentes. So, okay, where do we stand?
And Judge, the department, at least for the petition to modify, is needing to ask for continuance. Ms. Gutierrez became unexpectedly ill and is unable to attend the rest of today's court hearings. I only just kind of was told that maybe 20 minutes ago, so I have not had time to even begin reviewing this case. So the department is not ready to proceed on that matter. I did talk to parties, Judge, and I don't think anybody is opposed to the motion for severance, severing out the older child. So if nobody's opposed, we may be able to move forward on that matter at least.
All right. And I won't expect you to know, Ms. Wildman, because someone tell me what's the purpose of severing out Adriana?
Judge, it's anticipated that the outcome for the older child and the younger children might be potentially different.
Okay. And she's placed with grandparents?
That's correct.
Is that paternal, maternal?
Maternal.
Maternal. All right. So they want to sever that out so that can become a final?
I believe that's what the department's wanting.
Okay.
And I do believe that that's correct, Judge.
Yeah. The department's wanting Adriana to stay with the grandparents. Is that the overall gist?
Yes, Judge, and I believe that's why Ms. Moore has been added as a party in our petitions.
Okay. All right. All right, then does anyone object to the motion for severance?
No objection.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I hadn't heard no objections, so I will grant that motion to sever the case involving Adriana more into a separate cause of action with a new cause number. And I suppose we'll just, those orders that are in effect for Adriana will continue to be in effect. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right. All right. I will sign that motion. I mean, I'll sign the order of severance when it's presented to the court. And then, does anybody object to the continuance based on Ms. Gutierrez becoming ill?
No objection.
No
Okay.
objection.
All right. What do we want to do, Ms. Wildman, as far as a reset date? Do you have a date? Or do you want to just let Ms. Gutierrez get with Brittany, or what?
I think when I talked to the other parties, we were thinking about trying to set it out about 30 days, but
Okay.
Your Honor, I think that we could benefit from mediation in the cases.
Okay.
If we could have some time to mediate and then maybe from there set a final.
Is there any need to mediate on the severed case?
I would ask to mediate on both cases, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then. Well, we'll need more than 30 days, probably by the time it gets assigned a new cause number, and we can get you guys to mediation. So I'm just going to let the parties come up with how long they think once they've mediated.
Yeah.
And then just get with Brittany and we'll get a reset date whenever it works for all of y'all. Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Guess that's all we can do today. So we'll be in recess on this case. For any of you involved, I'll be back at 2:30 to call another Randall County case. That's a motion for withdrawal of attorney and a motion to terminate in order to participate involving the Stringer child. So, all right, we'll be in
Judge,
recess. Y'all have a good week.
if you just have a moment.
I'm sorry, what?
If you just have a moment, I will be covering the Stringer case. Daniel Trout is going to cover the Cothran case, and then the final hearing today is my case.
Okay. Hang on. You're covering Stringer. Okay. Okay, so Ms. Robin, I'll see you back at 2:30. I'm probably, I think it's now just 1 o'clock. I'm probably going to cut off the Zoom and I'll start it again for anybody that's involved shortly before 2:30.
And then, as I said, Judge Daniel Trout will cover the next one. So
yeah, you got that.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay, I'll see some of you back at 2:30. Y'all have a good week.
You too, Judge. Or I guess I'll see you back soon. I don't get to leave.
Back soon.